Sudhir sir, it is with a deep sense of gratitude that we welcome you back to the Metaphor Lucknow Litfest.
थैंक यू।
Thank you so much for taking out the
अरे
time.
बार बार मैं लखनऊ को हूँ तो आप इतनी शुक्रिया क्यों अदा करते हैं? चलिए
Sir, because
मान लेते हैं।
yourself are an institution and it is, आपको शायद पता नहीं चलता होगा, but your presence, your time, it matters a lot to us.
थैंक यू।
And we can
एनी
never-
टाइम।
So much. So, sir, before we started before the camera started rolling, we were talking about late-stage capitalism, and you were saying that it is not really capitalism anymore, but it is taken a different form. Could you?
हाँ, कुछ हो गया। मतलब कैपिटलिज्म का तो मतलब यही है ना कि वी आई डू समथिंग, देयर इज सर्टेन कॉस्ट टू इट, आई सेल इट, I said if certain price, the difference is the profit. Anyone else can compete, right? There's some kind of, and the
There's an
idea of
open
the
market.
state is to ensure fair play. That's capitalism, right?
Ji.
So I mean, but now this is, I think, a kind of, it's not a marketplace. Some people own the market. So if the market is owned by certain people, then it's a different ball game, no? It's some kind of like what Varoufakis calls a tech feudalism. Some kind of, I mean, it's not an extreme, it may be an extreme statement, but it's getting there. Some people, it's kind of dangerous, these monopolies, I think. I'm all for free flow capitalism with certain safeguards which are called commons, and if people, you ensure a kind of equality is not possible, right?
Ji.
There's no such thing as absolute equality, but everybody must have a fair chance at life, no? That's equality, that there is some affirmative action, that some people who have been oppressed for centuries get a social mobility, they get a leg up, things like that happen. After that, let's compete, it's good, merit works, after that, no? After that. So, but all that is fair and great, and that was supposed to be a kind of, let's say, the Swedish-Danish, that kind of model of capitalism, right?
Ji.
Which seems to work best, right?
Ji.
And otherwise, there's too much dissonance in a society, too much dissatisfaction, too much angst, too much anger. So, but I think it's kind of moving away from that, It's a bit of a problem, I think.
How do you see this, for example, with Bombay, where there is a very clear inequality in the kind of incomes that households which might be in the same square kilometer have? How do you think this? How do you see it change?
I think it's
over
getting
time?
to be a problem, and you can no longer afford. So this will be some kind of, only the rich will live in the perimeter of the city, and everybody else will be outside. So it becomes like something. If you've seen that Blade Runner film, where it was Ridley Scott made, and Chetan Anand made a film called Neecha Nagar, long time, Unche Log, Neecha Nagar. So, I mean, the rich live upstairs, it's almost like gods who live in heaven. All the filth and the common people who live below, breed like rats, whatever, that kind of scenario.
That is actually...
And that's not an ideal place to be, So, and there is rich nations which want to, close doors, right, almost. So now that they have taken the wealth of the third world or the other city, now they want to close the doors, right? So I mean, I think that's it's a state which will not be very good for the world. I mean, there will be a lot of angst, hatred, anger boiling up. And anger boiling up in our stage of technological and scientific development, some arms or weapons in the wrong hands can spell disaster. So I think you need to be careful. I think you need people to calm down. So all these competing isms, nationalisms, everybody make this first and back first. Everybody wants this, and everybody is living in a collective delusion, almost a hallucination. So they have some vision of themselves. They're living in different hallucinations. So it's like hallucinations competing. It's very funny. And what will happen if hallucinations compete? Because it's not real. So it's a quite a weird situation.
Have you ever thought about exploring this through the means of a movie or a series?
Yes,
Something which is
difficult, but I'm thinking of. It's an interesting idea, but I think you need to make a kind of a futuristic film, which is a bit expensive.
oh, it is.
But I think it's, or you can do it in some mythic past or some mythic future. I mean, I don't know, but I have thought about it. But I'm all for. I'm actually an old-fashioned peacenik, no. I was the generation I am influenced by is the '60s boys, kids, young people, peace, love, that kind of thing.
The hippie movement that came up.
Yeah, and whatever. And I mean, if you push people too far, then you can't talk about, complain about them reacting. But mostly, I'm like that. I'm not a fascist in any kind of way, so I don't impose my view. Only my view prevails is not what I think. But mostly, I abhor violence. Mostly, So I don't know. It's not. It's the anger that builds in society is not a pleasant thing to watch.
And do you think
Everybody is walking around strutting around with hate. Everybody's arrogance seems to be cool. If I crush somebody's head on the wall, it seems to be I'm a macho guy, And then I turn around and smile, and 20 people come around and you walk down in slow motion, and then I meanwhile kick a child on the road, and then I walk again in slow motion, and some music goes, and I go into a party and start dancing. Now that's a cool character.
edgy?
Well, I don't know. Maybe. Very easy to do, actually.
It is. Do you think there's do you see an increase in anger in general in society, in people, in yourself maybe?
I don't know about myself, but I see it all around. You can no longer have a calm discussion. Often, you always that discussion leads to some kind of a
Dissonance.
dissonance, some kind of a walkout, some kind of it's not an argument. It's like banging your head on the wall. You can't get through. People have already pre-decided notions,
But they
right?
want to believe it.
They think there is too much of a cost to them not believing in it. Some things.
Their identity has become too
So I
involved.
think they lose something. So they're all preserving something that they have through some belief. It's all self-interest groups actually, and not beliefs.
I mean, for that,
Belief
they
is
have to
just
reach. They have to build a belief system which is based on something deeper than WhatsApp messages.
Yeah, so I mean, if everything is based only on self-interest, I mean, man exists because your survival is a basic instinct. You have to look after yourself. There's a Maslow hierarchy of needs, right? So I mean, that's okay, but if everything is based only on self-interest, it ain't going to work. It'll lead to, some kind of a problem.
And comparing this to when you were growing up, could you tell us a bit about how the hippie movement, when it was coming up, was there like a wave in India?
No, I'm not even talking about the past as a glorified thing. See, there was a lot of problems in the past. A lot of people, my secular left friends, glorify it. But you see, what is the point of love if there's no food on the table, right? So if 60% of India was living below the poverty line and some 10% liberals were talking about love, what do those 60% do? They went over to the right wing, and then you complain. Because आप बोल रहे थे कोई गंगा जमनी तहजीब, आप बोल रहे थे इश्क, आप बोल रहे थे ये मिजाज वगैरह वगैरह, बट उसको क्या मिल रहा था? आप तो नुक्ते लगा रहे थे, वो क्या करें? तो वो भी आइडियल नहीं था ना. को प्राइमरी एजुकेशन का आपने जो हाल किया हिंदुस्तान में 47 से किसी ने बहुत सारी परेशानियां थीं. There is a lot of people who were living lives in a certain dissatisfied way. A lot of people were impoverished. A lot of people were not given the same opportunities. There was a dissatisfaction, which is why things changed. So conversations, you are not what you say. A party is not what they say. A party is the consequence of their actions. You are the consequence of your actions. Right. And then if you go further and into the world of Slavoj Zizek, then I'm not interested in the night of the revolution or the party or the jasn of things, but the morning after. Concretely, what does a movement do to its people? Let's say feminism. Let's be controversial. So if you state, if I talk a lot about feminism, but in the end, in my unit, or in the world, or in terms of what I see or have let happen to the girl child, if in terms of toilet facilities for technicians, women technicians in the film industry, if in terms of holidays for pregnant women, in terms of off days for menstrual leave, if all these concrete things don't happen, what's the point of feminism? What is feminism? That is feminism. After that, don't worry, the women will take care of themselves. Your statements don't help them. Concrete things help them. Equal pay helps them. Opportunities helps them. Education helps them.
So you think that
my father not getting his girl child married against her wishes helps them. These are concrete things, not अरे इश्क है और ये और लफाजी जिसको कहते हैं.
So जब ये सब लोगों को जो basics were not offered for a long time in this country, which has led to
that's why when these so-called ideals fail, then people get angry and then they gravitate towards anger. इसमें कोई नई बात नहीं है. मैं नहीं कह रहा हूँ it's a failed revolution which leads to false fascism. मैं कोई नई बात थोड़ी ना कह रहा हूँ. मैं सिर्फ कह रहा हूँ ज़्यादातर आजकल लोग बात नहीं करते ऐसी.
जी. But I'm sure in Bombay there would be circles which are
बहुत कम.
काफी commercial.
काफी कम हो गया. चुप रहो, बकवास मत करो, काम करो, थोड़े पैसे बनाओ, छुट्टियों पे जाओ, गोवा जाओ. Let's go to Europe for a holiday. Oh, Barcelona is so cool. Have you done the Shanghai, Moscow train, Siberia, Trans-Siberia train ride? Have you done? Yeah, that's, of course, you should do all this. Adventure is good. Conversations about your next door, 20 kilometers away from you, what is happening is also necessary, no?
Ji. And is this something that irks you? What is your reaction to the observation itself?
Well, obviously it irks me, but what can I mean, I'm not a movement, I'm just an artist, So I can express this in art, but I'm not an activist, no. I'm not a political worker. I can talk now, or if somebody is listening, or I can express. So many of my films express a certain dissatisfaction of people, that you are not living in the best of all possible worlds. You are not living in the best of all possible worlds. It's not an impossible fantasy, but a possible fantasy. It's not a perfect fantasy. It's not. There's no such thing as perfection. सब ठीक नहीं होगा कभी भी, लेकिन बेहतर हो सकता है.
And इसी उम्मीद पे दुनिया कायम है.
हाँ, बस वही.
Sir, thank you so much for enlightening us and giving us an insight.
I hope it's enlightening.
It is always refreshing to hear you talk about life, and we're hoping that we can continue doing this for a very, very long time.
कभी भी. Bye.